Time is it? Huh. How do I join this? It's oh, it's this one. That's That friend. I don't mean to be stopping here. I mean, I saw an event. Yeah, I saw an event that indicated that she was doing a meditation, which is why I started this. And supposedly, I mean, there's supposed to be one starting right now in a minute. And I guess it's not happening. Something I saw on Facebook, so maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to predict this stuff. And I don't know if maybe something came up or if she forgot about it, or, you know, what. Also, hold on. I gotta fix my mic. Because you probably can't hear me that well. Hold on. I'm outside of my boundary. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's possible that maybe it was just a scheduled recurring event and it just ended up never happening. And yeah, possible it just never happened. I know that I saw an event. I selected that I was interested in it, and I guess it's not happening. But I found, yeah, this meditation event. So I thought I would join it. You can't tell, I have a battery pack inside my pocket, and it's connected to my headset and it's charging it. And unfortunately, that charging requires a cord. So, in order for the cord not to be in my way, I have to kind of wrap it around myself. It's tough. But you know, the things you deal with when you have technology. I feel like what I could maybe do is wrap it around the other way. I'm trying to think. Wrap around the back of my neck. Just around back in general. Actually, that could work. I think that's gonna work. There's some tension in it from being coiled that's keeping it somewhat sprung away from my body, so it's not putting pressure on it. There are 9 people here. I don't think this is right. We're supposed to do a 10. Let's see what happens.
here's my idea of meditation. It's all about taking your attention, the most precious resource you got, and we're going to put your attention outside of what you've been working on all day long, all the people, all the work, all the stories you're carrying along. We'll get away from that. Just a little vacation from yourself. And what'll happen, no matter how interesting or unusual or whatever I give you to put your attention on, you'll get distracted. And you'll notice at some point, oh, I went back and started thinking about someone that got me mad today or something I still got to do tonight. And when you notice that your attention has gone away from where we want it to be now, you just bring it back. You don't beat yourself up and say, oh, I can't meditate. You say, oh, this is what he meant by getting distracted. Now I'm going to go back to this meditation thing again because all those things about the people that got you mad and the work that you got to do, they'll still be there. They'll be fine. You get plenty of time for them. We'll just take a little 20-minute vacation from all of that. And you start to learn it doesn't matter whether it's breathing, whether it's a story, whether it's a mantra. It's you starting to learn how your attention works is the whole point of the ball game. And the idea of you being able to manage your attention, keeping it where you want, not when you're meditating, but all the time, it's that's the benefit, I guess. So we're going to get started pretty soon, not quite yet. And I wonder, Cyber, you sounded like you had a question, so go ahead. Yeah, what you got?
He's muted.
Not here. Yeah,
He's
so if you know
muted.
how to unmute,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we
we'll
can
see
help
if we
him
can
out
get
that.
Cyber Cy Berkeley. We're getting him unmuted
Mute
for
your
your question.
microphone, VR.
Do you
There you
know
go.
where to find electronic assets in this in like any worlds? I need to find electronic assets for
No.
my world.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
don't even quite know what that
I don't.
means, and
I don't think this is the place for that. You might want to go to the
yeah,
plot.
I can't
yeah,
even find anyone.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
bud.
Well, keep. I bet you will. Keep going. You got the right idea. Someone will be there, and don't give up. You're welcome to stay here with us. What we're going to do is, I'm going to like give people some stuff to think about with their attention. If you want to join us, that's great. If you want to go looking for what you want to look for, that's also fine. And I'll say to everybody now, I'm not sure if this matters or not, but if you decide you're going to leave, and then you can, I think it works best, and it will be least disrupting to the people around you if you go out the way you came in. I think if you just leave, there's kind of it makes a little puff, and maybe people will be kind of in their meditation. So just a little bit of something to think about. And so yeah, there you go. That's the idea, Cyber. Well, thanks for being here, Cyber. Maybe we'll see you next time, and I hope you find what you're looking for. So I'm Tom, and I said at the beginning, you got a message from me, Ruth? You're saying something?
Yeah, I'm actually realizing that the way the audio is designed in here, you might need to stand in the middle for today, and then I
Okay.
will fix that to make it a little wider
Okay.
ranging. But that way
Yeah.
everyone can hear you because it's hard to hear
Yeah.
you from over here.
So, I think everybody kind of gets, a lot more people than usual are being in Horizon now. We're just starting to get our act together on actually having events and things to do and learning how to get it better. This is one of the really early times at this. So thanks for being a pioneer and being willing to be in the early days here. And before we get going, so it looks like is that over there 2012 VR Lover. Yeah, so go ahead. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Go ahead.
Why are we here again? I didn't read the description.
Got it. Okay. So we're here because this is an event, and we're going to be starting any minute now. And it's an event about meditation, which is a way to relax. Yeah, there's meditation that's like, whoa, kind of be hard, and you got to sit still and do difficult things. This is going to be hopefully an easy, enjoyable kind of meditation, but still, it's about putting your attention on something that's not all the stuff you're usually thinking about. That's the whole point. The way I try to say it, will take a little vacation from yourself if you'd like to do that. We're getting pretty close to getting started here, and I'll again say that I have been doing meditations in VR for about 3 years now, and it's not obvious that, uh, meditating with a VR headset on is a good thing, but they're an obvious thing at all. But all meditation, and kind of what I was just saying, is about dealing with distractions. Oh, I got an itch. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I got something I got to do later. You you notice those things coming through your mind, and you say, "Yep, I just noticed that. Now I'm going to go back to what the object of the meditation is." And here's what the object of the meditation is tonight. It's going to be about standards. Now we're creating new worlds here, and we're bringing standards from the old world into the new world we're creating. So I want to think about it a little bit, and here's how we're going to start doing it. I want you to picture in your mind a long railroad track. And you just picture the two sides of the metal of the track and then the pieces of wood in there between them. And it's got to be the same distance apart. That's called the gauge. And it wouldn't work. It's got to be. It's all got to be standard.
What do you mean?
Because all the trains are made with the wheels at the right place, so all the tracks have got to be the same, so the wheels will go rolling along in them, and all the gauge in the railroad tracks in all of America is 4 feet, 8.5 inches. That's it. That's the standard of railroads. That seems kind of a random number. So where'd that come from? Well, the railroads that got built here in the United States, where I am at the moment, even though some people here might not be, but that's what this story is about. The railroad track standards in the United States were brought by engineers and working people from England who had built even earlier the very first modern railways there in England. They brought their equipment and all the jigs and the stuff that they had to build stuff with, and it was the same width, the same standard that they'd been using. That's what the equipment was calibrated for. So that's where that came from. But why was it 8 feet 4.5 inches from England? Yeah, well, that's it. When I'm in the center, I want to be able to turn around and make sure I'm talking to everybody. And it turns out that in England, before railways, there was other methods that they used, carts and conveyances that would go across the country. That's where the original equipment was measured against. But where did the roads and the cart tracks that went across the country came from? The Romans, who came up to England about 200 or so AD, and they landed there, and they started with their chariots. They came with horses and chariots, and they just started going across the country building roads. And when they didn't build them, they just developed ruts by going the same place, the same way every time with these standardized war chariots that had their wheels 8 feet 4.5 inches apart. Why did they make their chariots that way? Well, thanks for hearing from you, and we're coming to an important part of the story here, so you want to just stick with me. And it's pretty obvious at this point is that the standard of the railroad tracks in the United States is based on the size of 2 horses' rear ends. Now, here's a little upgrade to the story there because, for instance, railroads are still very important in the United States, and we'll say that I was just been talking about a classical times, even pre-Middle Ages, the Roman Empire, setting the standard for railroads so that when that Utah-based company Thiokol was building the rocket boosters, the SRBs, the solid rocket boosters for the Challenger missions, those had to then be taken by railroad all the way across the country to Florida. And the original design of those SRBs was what the engineers decided was optimal, and it was when they considered every little inch of the route it was going to have to take. There were several bridges that they were going to have to go through that would not be wide enough, given the standard of 8 feet 4.5 inches, and then a little bit more leeway on the side. And so the design, the optimal design of one of the key ingredients of the space age was altered for the standard that had already been set in place centuries ago. Now, we're moving into a new age, and so part of this little thought experiment is for us to think about standards that we're carrying forward, standards of behavior, standards of social relations. Good time to think about that. And let's just imagine that the story is really even more than I just said, because why 2 horses? Why not 3? Why were chariots the important standard instrument at that time? Why did they take a particular path from London to York? Well, the way to get from point A to point B anywhere in the world, and we're just talking about England now, is to follow the standard path that other people had done before, because that's probably the best way. The Romans and their road building were just adding a layer on top of pathways that had been formed thousands of generations before. In the earliest times, tracking game, because that was the path the animals took. So the truth is that, just looking at England and then at America, everybody, without anyone in charge, learned the best way to get from point A to point B. It was a self-learning project. And what if the whole universe is that way? What if the standards that we feel are the fixed standards of our universe are really just something that came out of a long, self-directed, nobody in charge process of learning? Like 8 feet 4.5 inches. Suppose the speed of light was 286,000 miles per second. And then would it be E equals mc cubed? What would that mean? Why is the mass of the electron just what it needs to be, so it's not so small that we all go flying apart, and it's not so big that we just devolve into a gigantic clump? It's just right. How'd that happen? Planck's constant? I think there's only 3 ways it could be. There's either an outside agent that set those values, whether it's what we call God, or what people sometimes now call the simulation hypothesis. Same thing. Maybe so. A second possibility is there's no reason for it. It's just lucked into the mass of the electron, whatever. Third possibility is the universe is learning about itself without anybody being in charge, and adjusting those standards and getting them better. Better meaning the universe can persist and last longer. Yeah. Let me give you an example. We got protons and neutrons, right? And neutrons are just a little bit heavier than protons. So that means they decay faster. And they decay into protons. So there's an excess positive charge in a tiny little region of space. All chemistry goes from there. A little charge imbalance in one little part of space, attracting something else, leading to something else. Everything starts from the fact that the neutron dissolves to a proton and creates a charge. What if it was the other way around? I'll tell you, if it was the other way around, we wouldn't know about it, because the proton would decay into a neutron. It would send out this high energy blast that would just make us just all be gone in less than a second. And it would create a gigantic network of black holes that would then come together eat themselves up, and that would be that. Now, this isn't just a science fiction fantasy that out the other side of that black hole, a new universe gets built with all the standards that were working remembered, but new adjustments maybe in that birthing process getting made. Sounds like a crazy idea. The leading head of the Department of Theoretical Physics at MIT proposed that I just said, called an autodidactic universe. A recent paper published with two other Microsoft scientists. Did you think that Microsoft was into stuff like this? Oh. So maybe when universes aren't stable enough and they just devolve into black holes and they put out another one and that universe is a little bit smarter. But I think there's another way that our universe learns about itself too, and it's through us, through the way that the pathways got made from London and York and Cornwall and all over
Hi,
England.
honey.
Just people.
How was work today?
Yeah. So probably,
Nice.
Eric, you're
Did
going to
you-
want to take your conversation somewhere else. Maybe we could mute Eric. And yeah, that's okay. It takes an awareness to know that you're not in two places at once. But in a traditional meditation, that would be just a shattering blow. But here we're just going with the flow, and we get back to our idea that we are the ones now who are walking from Cornwall to York, no one in charge, learning maybe new ways of being with each other, new standards of being that you wonder, well, how can that really matter? I think that the human to human contacts that are made by behaving in different ways like we are right now are the only way things ever change, by touching each other and
Helping each other.
helping each other. And helping is a loaded word. It's a very we all have been taught that the best thing we can do is help each other, but we don't get a lot of training in how to do it. And we also don't get a lot of training in how to be helped. But you're certainly right, and I think that's part of the standards of behavior that we're just learning on our own with no one else in charge. So I will move to a concluding part of this talky meditation, idea meditation, with a standard of breathing that I'd like you to try with me for a few minutes here. And it's a way of breathing with intention all in your stomach. It's going to tie in with what I've been talking about, and just see if you can, now that you have been away from yourself and your own stuff for a little bit, maybe a little calm down, can you just feel yourself pushing air up easily from your diaphragm into your lungs, and then gently letting it drop out and back down again. Breathing in from the belly and breathing out down into the belly. And when you do this, your brain knows that you're doing belly breathing. The vagus nerve tells it so, and so your brain says, I can calm down now. It's safe. And this is a place where you can always find a deeper relaxation just by intentionally sitting still and breathing from your stomach. Finding this place of relaxation out of tools in your own toolkit, I think, is the precondition for learning, for being able to have the awareness of the standards that we're bringing with us from an old world into a new world that we're creating here. So I want us to think of these social experiences that we're doing together, not just as times to have fun and stimulate each other and excite each other, but also to be able to find with each other a place of peace and calm. It's the foundation for the learning that we need, because learning is something that each little part does for the whole. The learning that we're doing of new standards now, as Angry Reptilian said, we do not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Just take another minute of breathing in from the belly and breathing out. Remember, when you get distracted, just go back to the belly breathing. And now, to show you what a difference it is, if you'd like, I invite you to take 2 quick breaths in your lungs and feel how that perks up your brain right there. How the other stimulated part of your nervous system wakes up just from where you breathe there. And you can now just shake your shoulders a little bit and tap your feet on the floor if you want, and be back here in this unusual space with Zen stones stacked up around us and Tibetan Buddhist prayer flags blowing and I don't know what else. But we just did an unusual meditation together. A bunch of people stayed the whole time. I appreciate that. Thank you. And one of the things that I like about having meditation as a social experience, and by the way, you think that we've kind of put on a pedestal that idea of sitting by myself in a super disciplined way for 20 minutes every day. And it's a good thing, but in the history of meditation, going back thousands of years, most of the time it has been social. It has been groups of people doing it together, whether they're monks or nuns or lay people doing it as a social binding ritual, kind of ceremonial chanting together, whatever it is, activity. So I think we're also going back to some old ways here, but we can also, now that we've shared an experience, check in a little bit together. And I'll just call on folks if you want to unmute yourself and say hi, anything like that. I see it looks like a hand up from Jordan. Anything you want to say hi, or just wave enough for you? If you want to unmute.
I just wanted to say that this meditation was really relaxing and it helped me with all of my problems.
Well,
Wow.
I
Thank you.
don't get anything much better than that. And, but
That was my first time meditating, to be honest with you.
And well,
Like a
thanks.
legit one, other than like an app or something like that.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Now, there are people that would say what I am doing is not "quote unquote" legit meditation.
Yes,
Uh,
I understand.
I mean, there's kind of a way. Yeah, Eric. You probably want to give him a little space there. Thanks. You're saying you
Okay.
can't hear him? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Eric's communicating something, but I'm not quite getting what it is. But he's really trying to communicate.
He's
Anyway,
muted.
go ahead, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably muted from
Eric
before.
was muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Eric was talking to their partner.
I see.
Yeah.
But he's really trying to tell us something, though. What do you think it is?
All right. Let's see if
Yeah,
I
we're
can't
playing
leave.
charades
It
now.
won't. It literally won't let me leave. Can you kick me
Oh,
out?
there. We
Oh.
got it. Okay, we heard you, but
just
you
try
can't
walking
leave.
through
Wow.
the little sparkle thing. It should let you
Huh.
out.
No, it
Yeah, Mr.
It
I think we
won't-
met once before. We've met
I've
once
read,
before.
it's Angry Reptilian but I don't remember where. It might have even it wasn't
Mhm.
here. It wasn't in Horizon. I don't think it was somewhere
No,
else.
it was not. It was on Microsoft Altspace.
Is that it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You had a beautiful session.
So,
it was really cool.
Did you walk through this?
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
thank you. And
but
it's always
when I click this, I wish I could
people
show
who
you.
are bringing a
Nothing
more
comes up when I
traditional
click
form of
the
meditation to
lines.
VR are
It just
doing a
says
wonderful
preparing
job
to
of it.
travel to your
Uh-huh.
current
And there's a lot of
place.
people that expect
Oh,
a traditional
yeah.
form.
Won't let me click
And like I
it.
said, and sometimes I do that too.
You just have
Uh,
to
But
go
I
right
also,
up.
especially here in Horizon, where you just don't
Uh,
quite know what's going
thank
to
you.
happen
You're-
and what
you're
people's
beautiful, by the
expectation
way.
are. I want to make it a little more story-like, a little bit more engaging.
Wow.
But also talk about stuff that are real and matters too, you know. So, and then we intend to, there's going to be more of this. We're going to be bringing more
What kind of
sessions and
scheduling
more.
you thinking about doing?
I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I think maybe a month
enough.
from now, as the event capability here gets better,
Uh-huh.
maybe open up 3 or 4 more time slots.
Wow.
You know, I think this 6 o'clock. I'm at 6 o'clock on the Pacific Coast, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. That seems to be a kind of a sweet spot for a lot of people, kind of starting to wind down for the day or at least end with the day's work. So I think that's the time slot we'd hopefully look for. So yeah, thanks for that. How about
Well, that was great, Tom. Thanks
Is there
very
any
much.
way I could like or rate the room
Thank you.
or the event?
um, anything you want to say about that, Ruth? I don't know if there is any kind of a liking system here now.
You know, that's a really good point. Thank you for that feedback. If you go to published world page, it might let you like the room, but thank you for that reflection. You can
No
take
problem.
a picture and post it to the page, and that's a way to kind of give it kudos. But
Okay.
yeah, otherwise, no.
The time will come when this is all really captured and all that. But
Yeah.
right now you don't have to worry about data getting captured. There's nothing getting captured now, so
Yep.
just enjoy it while we can. These are the great days. So
Yeah.
Swizzle, thank you. I heard you there.
Yeah,
I'll take a
welcome.
picture. Glad you were here. Let me
Oh
just
yeah,
go around
you
like
you can like it. You can. If you click
Oh.
on the name, yeah, you could like it.
okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Again, whatever you do, and I'm not looking for appreciation. If you got ideas about how to make it better, it'll really get noticed now. I mean, this is exactly the time when the people running this world are trying to get it right. So everything that you say by feedback will have 100 times more weight than it would at other times. So just be thinking about that. I was going to ask Wee Willie's Willie's back there if you had any
Oh yeah.
check-in you felt like sharing.
Nice job, Jordan.
I really enjoyed this. It was different, but just as effective as other forms of meditation. It's really nice. It's 9 o'clock for me, and I feel like really, really relaxed. So it's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be back
The
for sure.
trick is,
That's great.
again, especially for people that are new to meditation. I don't know if you've been doing meditation before, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
there's 2 sides to this whole meditation thing. You can talk about getting enlightened all you want, but until you can just begin to relax, you're probably not going to get enlightened.
Mhm.
So I think step one is just turning off the normal news feed of your own life. And that's very difficult to do. And but there's ways to do it, and that's what I'm kind of focusing on now. Once you can turn off the news feed of your own life, then there's some other interesting things you can do too. And meditation can really help in a lot of ways. But step one, just relax. If people are interested, I'll just tell you briefly that we I think have a pandemic crisis of not knowing how to relax, and it's not just us here. I'm actually leading some meditations now, and I'm going to be expanding it starting next week in China. Where there's about 200 or 300 million very well educated professionals who work 5 days a week and half a day, if not a full day on Saturday. And they don't have a clue how to relax, not one clue. And they're discovering meditation is trending now in China. It's been sort of out of the public eye for at least 2 generations. But it's not seen as religious. It's not seen as a Buddhist thing. It's seen as a way to relax. And so the government is even like, yeah, that sounds good.
Aren't they like
so,
ahead of us though with that kind of research? The Chinese.
But they'll see, that's what I'm saying. Not really. I mean, you could say that meditation has been happening for centuries in China, but for
Yeah.
several generations, it all stopped. It all stopped.
Oh, fair enough.
And yes, there are still Buddhist monks in China right now. There's lots of them, but they're not considered part of the modern China. And young people, young educated people in their late 20s, early 30s in China now, they'd think those Buddhist monks are just kind of out of it. What they'd want is they'd want to hear from people that have done a little bit of research. They know some of the empirical data about meditation. They know how it can help switch your parasympathetic nervous system in, and that's what they're looking for. So anyway, just kind of interesting that we have a worldwide problem in being stressed, and obviously having a pandemic doesn't help in that either. So Thanks. And how about Broom over here, 2501? Any little check-in you'd like to share?
Yeah, this was very fun. Fun, enjoyable. You did a great job, thank you.
Well, okay. Again, and anybody, check in with anything about here's a whole other thing that I'm trying to think of, and this is all a new experience to all of us, but I wonder if, I think it's easier to talk a little and check in after we've done something together, like have the meditation. But then I'd like to really make it clearer that if anybody has anything on their mind, you can bring that up too. It doesn't have to just be, oh, nice meditation, thanks. Maybe I'll advertise it. I'll call it Meditation Plus. I'll stop calling it unusual meditation, and I'll call it Meditation Plus. And then when someone says, what do you mean by plus? I'll say, when we can check in afterwards, tell us how you're doing. Anyway, just a thought. And Damon, you can do a check-in plus, or you can just say hi, or you can say nothing. Anything you feel like bringing up?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so just like Angry Reptilian, I'm relatively new to VR, and I'm new to, not VR, I'm both VR and meditation. I've joined, I don't know if you're familiar with Flutter, but I've enjoyed a few of her sessions lately.
Yeah.
I thought I'd try a different one, and I have to say yours seems to be pretty effective at taking the focus away from the distractions of everyday life with your storytelling. And honestly, as a science nerd, it tickled me too.
Well, then I could have gone further, as you well know, with the proton and neutron story, and I was going to get into the Higgs boson field. Maybe I'll save that for the next time. What do you think? Are you ready for that?
Perfect.
Okay. Because it's the Higgs boson field that, of course, gives the mass to the proton and the neutron because of the up and the down quarks. And it just so happens that the down quarks are a little heavier, which is why the neutron is a little bit heavier too. And that's even a better story. We'll get there.
Awesome.
So, thanks, Damon. Glad you dug it. And I'd like Flutter. Flutter is what's really cool about Flutter is a lot of people who can do meditations. That's what they can do. They can lead a meditation. She builds worlds too. Really, I think creative worlds, and has also recorded some things so that when people just want to meditate and the room was too full or no one there, you can do that. So she has been a leader. She started meditation here. She's the one. I'm just following her, and then there's going to be more people following too. So yeah. Let's see. Soul, are you still here, Soul? Sorry, we haven't been turned over this way. Anything you feel like checking in about? No. Is that a shaking your head? No, no check-in for Soul? You can if you want. We're in no hurry. I'm getting a little cough here. Well, how about you, Ruth? Any concluding remarks from you? If you don't know it, Ruth has been helping. One of the reasons we could have a nice meditation is that, a lot of people who came didn't quite get it. As I said, they just didn't hear there's something going on. I'll go in and find it out. So to make meditations work here, we have to have a moderator. It's going to have to be that way for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's what Ruth has been doing. She didn't get to meditate with the rest of us. She's been working this whole time. And anything you feel like just sharing, Ruth? And what do you know that we don't know?
What do I know that you know? Yeah, I like the ionic field piece. It makes me itchy to change out the scenery in here. So if you really do want to go that direction, send me some visuals and we'll have a different space around this space next week. But yeah, no, I think this week went slightly better than last week, and really sweet to see so many people coming to be present and getting to feel your adventurous way of getting us there. So
Well,
really
and there's a tradition when newcomers come off and you get razzed, right? But I feel it different here. This is two levels of newcomer, VR and meditation. And in both cases, I'm like, man, am I ever glad you're here. I love it. You're so welcome, because this is how we change the world. It's the only way that I know to do something that's good. It's my plan. It's my whole plan. So thanks. And yeah, Swizzlebeat, go ahead.
Yeah. So Ruth, did you design this room, this space? Is that why you're? It's really cool. I couldn't help but notice as you were talking about the tracks that the floor has like these tracks, and it's in a pattern that kind of goes out. So I don't know if that was intentional, but it was all very connected. So super cool.
We've been here for a couple
Okay.
months, and I was doing a series of meditations that were about the cycles. It was around the end of the year and the annual cycle and the monthly cycle. So that's why I kind of wanted all these circles to begin to make us feel how we're just in the middle of a bunch of cycles going through us and penetrating us. Yeah, but we got new world to come.
If
we'll be
if
moving
I
on
could
to other
have
ones,
any
too.
critique, which I don't want to say a negative one, but it's a very distracting thing, is
Mhm.
the way your hands are when you move. It's
Mm.
just doesn't feel right, so it's not like fluid. So it was a
gotcha.
little bit distracting to
Yeah.
look at you.
I hear you.
So
Mm.
And someone else is saying
I
yeah on
just
that
wanted
too.
to
Yeah.
note that if that's helpful.
Yeah, I was seeing
Okay,
that
what about
too.
right now? What about right now? I just put
That's
the
okay.
controllers down.
Yeah, that
It's
doesn't
a
look
little
that.
weird because your hands are like kind of behind you.
Yeah.
So like maybe if you were like this or something like this, I don't know. I don't know anything. But
No, but thank you for that. See, because I have no way of knowing that, and that's great feedback. And I'll
Yeah,
figure.
your
and
arm
I'll-
kind of got like it's stretched out for some points.
that
too, and they
happens
kinda
too. That's just a
twisted.
Yeah.
weird horizon thing, isn't it, Ruth? I don't know what to do about the stretch
it
arm
might be.
thing.
If your hands aren't in front of your headset, then that can make it
Yeah.
go a little
Well,
funky.
What's your
So-
advice for how I should have my hand? Do you think I should be holding the controllers or not?
Yeah, ideally, because if your controllers go completely dead, they can end up
Yeah.
looking like what's happening for Solus.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
So-
don't.
So I should just
right?
basically sort of be like I'm meditating.
Yeah.
Hold my controllers in my lap, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would just
Or-
have them in
But
front.
don't gesticulate. That was the trouble. I'm a gesticulating.
Like right now it looks
Clear.
great. Like when you're moving like
Yeah.
that, it looks great. But
Oh.
whatever movement you like that was going on when you were talking, your hands were going through you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to.
Yeah, Jordan's mimicking a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I got to figure out how I did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, that's. You don't usually get feedback like it. People don't usually say, "Hey, your arm got extended 6 feet." You know?
Meditation was distracting because your arm
Yeah, a
left
little
you.
meditation humor. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I am working on some spiritual stand-up too. So there's a number of stand-up comedy clubs, and sometime soon we'll do a little spiritual stand-up routine too. But for now, I think if there's no one behind me that I didn't call on, any other final check-ins? Set Ruth for now.
No, yeah. I mean, if anybody is interested in additional activities, they're not advertised on the Attend tab right now, but you can find them on the Horizon Creator Community. There's an event on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time that is a meet and greet for Horizon Creator Community. So if you're interested in building community or learning how to build worlds, that's a place to go to hear about this community group and understand more about how you can get involved. So,
Great. Thank you so much.
Ruth came up in Horizon by being a central figure for a whole bunch of people who found they loved building worlds here and loved helping other people do it. And so that's what they mean by Horizon Creator Community. Of course, nothing is simple in this world. And what happens if someone wants to build a place that's offensive? Well, that has to get dealt with too. And
Yeah.
so Ruth has been in the middle of all these type of things, talking about standards,
Very
you know,
cool.
and
Mhm.
so and the Horizon Creator Community is behind some of the really some of the only, but some of the by far best events. So good advice from Ruth. I will be back here next Thursday. I also do events in Alt Space on Tuesday, and my goal with this meditation, I led something like this meditation this morning in Alt Space, and next week I'm going to be doing a third one, and I'm going to do it in Engage, another platform. So that's my goal. Can I in one day do like this roughly the same
Triple
meditation on
threat.
3 worlds? So that's what I'm gonna try. Yeah. I just want to see what it's like. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good for you.
Awesome.
thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm an old guy too, so I will see what you guys can do. Right. And on that happy note, see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
That was great.
That was super.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, that was
of
actually
course.
my
Yes, thank
first event. I actually
you.
stayed in, and I actually liked it.
Yeah, wasn't that fun, Jordan?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, that was
Let's
cool. Thanks for
go.
helping me get in here.
Oh, okay.
There's no way to leave, is there? So we go to what? Homeworld. I keep forgetting how. There we go. Personal space. Am I facing? Okay, I'm kind of not in the shot. That's my bad. Still okay. Good. Still recording. I don't see any chats. That's a bad thing. Okay, so that's roughly the duration of the event that I joined, and I'm glad I was able to. I'm glad I was able to join some kind of meditation. That was fun. And as I was telling Tom, my feedback, I found that style to be very effective. Found that I was able to focus to focus more on what I was seeing in my mind's eye. I think his descriptions calmed me and helped to create those images in my head. It was wonderful. Different style from what Flutter does, but effective, I would say. That was very cool. So Friday, tomorrow, meditation again at 7 p.m. and this is Mountain Time. So you're looking at Mountain Time, Mountain Daylight Time. So it's actually 9:44 p.m. Eastern Time, and it would be 6:44 p.m., 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. So do the math for your time zone, or just tell me what your time zone is, and I'll convert it for you. Because in my line of work, I have to convert time zones a lot. Because I work in essentially Eastern Time, but I live in Mountain Time, rather Arizona Time. So half of the year I have to subtract 2 hours from Eastern Time. The other half of the year I have to subtract 3 hours. So I've gotten pretty good at time conversion. So anyway, I don't think there's any other events that I can really join. Forbidden Horizon. I could have sworn I saw Flutter doing something, but maybe not. That's what I was trying to describe at the beginning. Like, I saw Flutter had something scheduled, so I had said that I was interested, and I guess it just didn't happen. Speaking of which, Friday morning. Okay, so Friday tomorrow's not the 11th, right? Yep, Friday, I gotta just make sure I'm interested. I wish I could just click interested on the entire series. That would be much better. Get reminders all the time. But we'll go a little bit further in the future. But I don't have to do this too often. Once a week, and also on Mondays. Is it? Yeah, Mondays. I think it's the Women in Horizon. I actually think I saw it. I skipped past it. What's this LGBT? Welcoming space, allies of okay, cool. RC. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna switch games. There's not a whole lot else to do. This was fun. Thank you for watching if you joined. Get it? I'm gonna take off the headset, put it down, and switch to Dying Light. That's the plan. So join me in a few minutes or so for Dying Light. you very much for watching. Wow, the responsiveness in Horizon Worlds is not as good as responsiveness outside of it. Alright. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Take it easy.